little bit bad. So let's start again. Sorry, I was muted. Gabby just reminded me. Yeah, so today is the day of small issues. Sorry for being late. Yeah, I had something that kept me from starting the stream. Anyway, so again, before we continue with the audio on, don't forget, usual disclaimer applies. It's also mentioned at the bottom below. Everything that I share in this live stream everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Yeah. And as you might have seen but not heard, we have a decently green start into the day, mostly because of GameStop. And talking about GameStop, it looks like our yesterday's analysis is correct. So it we indeed finished wave 4 here and are now in wave 5. However, right now there's still the option that this is 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves for an overall 3-wave ABC move, which would mean right now there's still the option that this is going to be wave A, wave B, and wave 4 hasn't finished yet and we'll get another push a little bit further down. However, looking at the chart, I believe that it's actually not the case, and I believe that it's more likely that we finished wave 4 here on the 61.8 retracement and are now about to experience wave 5 up. Again, welcome Gabby, and thank you for reminding me that, or letting me know that the audio was turned off. Yeah, I somehow did not notice the big red icon here. But yeah, so that's about GameStop. Now I'll have to hydrate a little bit and drink something, and then we'll jump to probably Barnes & Noble Education Inc. And 1 second. Okay, so yeah, if you have questions about GameStop specifically, feel free to ask them in the chat. Otherwise, we now already move on to Barnes & Noble Education Inc. And if we get a chart. Yesterday, we also didn't get a chart. We see yesterday we were a little bit higher. Today, we have a slightly red day for BNet, but overall, as long as we stay above 831, I'm fairly confident that we actually are good with our position and that it will go higher. We'll give it let's say half a minute to see if the chart gets to load. As said, I will look into the issue that's behind the lack of chart or behind the charts that are not loading in the next probably 2 weeks or so. Like I have a lot of other things that just have higher priority, especially considering that we have very small exposure in the few tickers that are not giving us a chart right now. But yeah, so 15 seconds more. If we don't get a chart by then, we'll move on to the next one. In the meantime, can check Discord real quick. So, okay, nothing new here. Great. And there we go. Okay, no chart, so moving on. Next one that would be curious would be immersion, but there we are basically still waiting for another push down to finish the correction. It's unchanged. I know I open it up every stream, but since we're on a weekly chart, it's going to take months for this pattern to play out. Again, the next couple of months, I actually expect a little bit further downside in immersion before we then get to see the next impulsive pattern up. Costs, similar, we need more data because this here I don't see a valid pattern here other than a potential 3-wave move, which would then, however, indicate that wave 2 hasn't finished yet, which would then, however, also mean that we're still looking for another, 60% potential drop to reach the 78.6 retracement. So for now, I'm just going to hold our small position and wait for further candles to potentially provide me with a clearer picture. And NEO, finally another green candle. We are anxiously waiting to have the final confirmation in quotes to the end of this corrective move. I'm fairly certain that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move that we also labeled. You can see it here, done here, which means we're currently retracing those 5 waves. I'm not happy with how far that retracement went, and I called the end of the retracement wrong twice already. So I'm not going to call it anymore. I still am bullish. I still believe there should be another 5-wave move up, but we'll have to wait and see how and when it plays out. And yeah, so that's that. And that brings us to, what else do we want to look at? I want to look at XYO, slightly green. That we have to relabel. Maybe we'll jump into that today. H and T, again, I would expect another push down to go below where we were here to finish a 3-wave corrective move overall. And it's possible that there none is happening, that this is actually 5-wave impulse and the correction, but I don't think this looks right. So I believe that this should be a bigger 3-wave corrective pattern before we go further up. Bitcoin, we have to label the bigger picture. Overall, I believe that we are retracing this pattern right now. It's possible that the retracement finished at the 21.4 retracement, yeah, and it would fit in terms of guidelines, not in terms of following the rules, but in terms of the like rule of thumb or guideline that very often a corrective wave will finish in the area of wave 4 of the previous impulse wave of 1 degree lower. So previous impulse is this 3rd wave, and 1 degree lower is when we subdivide it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the wave 4 area is here, which fits with the 21.4 retracement level. However, we have to consider that the 21.4 is not our primary candidate for retracements. Primary would be 61.8, 38.2, 50, 78.6, 21.4. So it's among the least likely retracement levels that we expect in a correction. So yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. I'll hold our small Bitcoin position further. Either way, either if we go down and then get another push up, although we are also here, we're looking at the daily chart, so we're talking about the next couple of months that we would expect that movement if there is a further corrective movement. But that's fine overall, at least for me. Yeah. Algorand, just for out of curiosity, looks like we finally finished. I mean, there could be one more push. So looking here, could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 push still missing. But considering that we bounce at the 50% retracement, it's also possible that this is already the entire A, B, C 3-wave retracement move. And we are now about to finish or see the next upward move. Now, 1 second. And yeah, that's then pretty much that on the crypto area. XRP, as said, I believe we should get a corrective pattern that breaks out from here. So I don't expect too much upside the next couple of weeks. I still believe that here we should get to see the 38.2 retracement. So yeah, I don't hold any XRP right now. So do with that information what you will. I have no exposure. I have no horse in the race. So yeah. Moving on. What else? SMCI would be interesting to see. Is still another green day, actually rapidly green day. We are approaching the minimum target for what should be then potential A, B, C, and should then be followed by further decline. Frontline, I expect that we reach the end of the correction as I shared in previous streams and have now further upside, although we're on a weekly chart, so things are slowly developing. And we might not get a chart to load right now. And I don't hold a horse in the race. I just called the earnings relatively well and are now just keeping track of where I believe it will go. Okay, we don't get a chart here either. Yeah, what else do I care about? Not much of the things that we have. NVIDIA we have to label because we only have a very rough labeling here, but that would indicate that we have our corrective move finished here, slightly below the 61.8 retracement. There is still the possibility, although it becomes less likely now that we went higher than this point, but otherwise there would still be the possibility for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. It could still be in the form of an ending diagonal. So yeah, like one should, but if we look that we bounce exactly at the 161.8 expansion and that this would be an almost perfect flat correction. So 3 waves, and then that technically should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. Yeah. I think we can call the correction as over, which means there should be a new all-time high in the not so distant future. We're on a daily chart, so within the, I don't know, next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. If you were to enter right now, you would need to have your stop loss at 113.01. Yeah. Overall, it looks also, again, we don't have the bigger picture labeled, but overall it looks also as if we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, as if that whole thing would be some kind of diagonal, considering that wave 4 enters the area of wave 1, or actually wave 2. 1 second, just have to push a button here on the side. There we go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So actually, I know I started late today. The stream is relatively short. And again, I'm really sorry for being late. Couldn't be helped. But since we covered everything, I think we can call it a day here. As said, GameStop is going to probably be the most interesting one. Depending on how this pattern plays out, there might be a short retracement still to get in a little bit cheaper, but overall I believe there's going to be more upside, and we are now going to see this fifth wave play out that has a minimum target at 33.89 and an in quotes maximum target at 41.45. So it's going to be interesting to see if I'm right and how this plays out. I do hope that the develop doesn't continue that fast, because that brings our covered calls in jeopardy, because we would risk to have the shares called away at 37 if we reach or go above 37 and stay above 37 until March 29th. So I would hope that we get something like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then basically wave 5 after the expiration, or until, or at a time when I can already roll them. Rolling them right now doesn't make much sense. So we're on March 28, 37 calls. If we check, if we were to buy them back and roll them out for 1 week, then we can see that we would have to do that. Oh, actually, we could do that for a credit theoretically, but that's because there's no volume. You can see there's a ridiculous bid-ask spread. Yeah. We still have 42 days till expiration, but if we could get $600 for this, then we might as well roll them now already. Although the order will likely not fill considering the insane bid-ask spread, we would probably have to jump on another strike price. So for example, on the 40 strike price, where it would be a debit and not a credit, or we would have to pick a lower strike where it would be only $300 credit, but we also give up a potential of $1,200 profit. So we're not going to do that, especially not where as long as our current calls are in the red, which means we're going to keep them the way it is. And as said, we're going to call it a day here. There's no stream on Monday because the American markets are closed, because it's President's Day, and it also happens to be my birthday, because obviously I'm the president. Yeah. My wife is laughing. And anyway, so thanks for stopping by. I hope you were able to take something away from today's stream. I wish you all a pleasant extended weekend, since markets are closed on Monday in the US. And then see you all next Tuesday again with another episode of Daily Market Mastery. Till then, bye-bye.